Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Millie the Mermaid, and in today's video I wanted to start a new series called Hit or Flop. So basically I'm going to predict, along with Steven, which Disney live action films that are going to be coming out in the near future are going to be a hit or a flop. So this is kind of a long video, so it's going to be a two-parter series. So this is part one. If you are interested, please stay tuned. Steven is here with me, so we're gonna talk about whether or not we're gonna think that these films are either gonna be, a hit or it's gonna be a flop. That's just our opinion. Again, if you have an opinion that's different from ours, that is great too, because we're neither right nor wrong. That's just our opinion out there. So for all you Disney fans, this is the video for you. And if you're not a Disney fan, well then, what you doing here? Bye. I'm just kidding. No. Okay. So, all right. So let's talk about the first one. Steven, you said this has already been announced. So Snow White is supposed to be made into a live action film. Do you think that's going to be a hit, or do you think it's going to be a flop?
The way it's tracking, it seems like it's going to be a flop. I say that because, the director's Mark Webb. If you don't know who Mark Webb is, he did the Amazing Spider-Man series with Andrew Garfield. He was the director of that. But you just hear all these negative press going on with that movie. You hear we don't even know what's going on with the cast or whatever. So it just seems like it's a troubled production and it's just gonna flop.
I heard a lot was going on with Snow White's costume in this film. I just heard negative feedback about the live action costume for Snow White. Let me see. Oh my goodness. If you look this up, I'm not really a big fan. If this is the dress for it, I am not a big fan of it. You guys already know how I felt about Tiana's new dress for the Princess Tiana's Palace restaurant in New Orleans Square in Disneyland, California. If you haven't checked out that video, I will link it in this video. Please go check it out if you haven't already, so you can see what I think about it. But okay, I think it could. I think it might be a flop, you guys. To be honest, I'm just gonna be real with it. Just because I'm hearing all of this negativity going on with it, That's what we think. Okay, let's move on to number 2.
Why quiver with fear?
And the next one should be coming out in July 5th, 2024. It says Mufasa, the Lion King.
Mufasa, the Lion King. Okay, first of all, that's a great idea, but why did we have to even make a live action Lion King remake in the first place? If they would have just scratched the Lion King live action remake, which was really bad in my opinion, I think that this movie would be a hit. I actually think it's going to be a hit because the Lion King did well live action remake. I think it's because all of us grew up with Lion King. We thought it was going to be a great film. Beyonce was supposed to be in it or something.
Garbage.
Stop. Okay, we can't just say it.
Lion King, garbage.
Okay, the reason why I didn't really like Lion King live action remake is because it's hard to animate the emotions of these characters, and we know that emotions are driving this movie. The emotions of seeing Simba sad about his father passing away. Sorry for spoilers for people who haven't seen Lion King, but I'm just saying that you just weren't able to see that on certain scenes. And Mufasa is such a powerful character that I would really love to know Mufasa's backstory before he became king. Now we know how Simba became king due to unfortunate circumstances, but Mufasa is very powerful. Is James Earl Jones going to be playing Mufasa?
See, that's
for
the thing.
That's
the thing. We don't know. If I'm not mistaken, James Earl Jones was he was done voice acting.
He's retired though, isn't he?
Yeah, so that's where I'm skeptical. Who's gonna play Mufasa?
Ooh.
I know it's getting directed by Barry Jenkins. He's the one that directed Moonlight, the Academy Award winning film, and I'm very interested to see what he does. But it all depends on who's gonna play Mufasa. If they somehow get James Earl Jones back to do that role, then it's gonna be a smash hit. If they don't, that's more questionable. I would say it'll be a hit, but I don't think it'll be like it's still like up in the air with that one.
I think it's going to be a hit no matter what, but I feel like it would definitely be a hit if James Earl Jones is playing Mufasa. Okay.
Would you be excited to watch? Are you excited to watch that movie?
Am I excited to watch it?
Yeah. Are you like, oh, that's something I would want to watch?
Only if James Earl Jones is doing it, I would be more excited. But like, if he's not doing it, I'm just gonna be like, I'll just wait till Disney Plus at this point. But let's move on. So,
the next one, it says Moana, which was announced by The Rock, and it's supposed to come out June 27th, 2025.
ooh, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a hit, you guys. I say this just because of the visual effects. We already know it's gonna be pretty. So like, just you already know I'm a mermaid, so I love island stuff. I love Dwayne Johnson. So it's just, I love anything to do with the ocean and the Tafiti, and it's just gonna be a really, I think it's really gonna be a sweet movie. I think. What do you think?
See, I'm on the fence with this one. I say that because it hasn't been that long for nostalgia to kick in. For people like, oh, I remember this movie when I was a kid. I want to watch it now.
That's true.
It's only been 9 years about. It'll be 9 years when the movie came out from the anime movie to when the live action supposed to come out. So
you think they're releasing this too early?
It's kind of releasing it too early. Number one. Number two, it all depends on how the other two do, in my opinion. Because if people become fatigued with the live action remakes and they're just like, I'm done with it, then Moana's gonna flop.
But I already think people are tired of live action remakes.
So we're tired of it not being good.
Yeah.
So it all depends on to me, it all depends on fatigue factor. Like, are we gonna be so tired of it? Now, it does have The Rock producing it. It says so. I guess with his name on it, it might generate a lot of buzz for it to be a hit. I'm just on the fence on it. I'll just say break even point right now.
Okay.
Depending on how things go with the other two.
Okay. So, I think Moana has the potential to be a hit, personally. So, let's move on to Lilo and Stitch. Could you believe that's going to be a live action? Stop it. Don't start. Oh.
First, okay, controversial point. I think this will be a flop.
You think Lilo and Stitch is going to be a flop?
I say that because, don't get me wrong, it has its audience, and the animated version is a good movie. It's a really good movie. However, how is Stitch gonna look? Because a part of the charm of Lilo and Stitch was cute.
I know.
That's the part of the charm, and like, how is Stitch gonna look? If he looks ugly, that it's not gonna do well.
It's gonna flop.
It's gonna flop hard.
Just like, remember you guys when Sonic came out, the first trailer,
Lord.
Everybody was talking so much mess about how Sonic looked. The animators had to go in and re-edit him to make him look cuter. So you guys, Disney, don't have to do it. I'm telling you guys right now that if Stitch is not cute, then you guys shouldn't have even thought about this as a live action remake. Because trust me, if his cuteness alone will make it a hit, because that's the reason why everybody's watching Lilo and Stitch. It's not because of nobody else but Stitch. If anything, you guys should have just made a movie called Stitch.
No, that wouldn't do well either.
Stop. Don't start with me. You said
because Lilo is just as important as Stitch is. If Lilo wasn't in there, Stitch by itself, it would not do well. The fact that Lilo's in there and kind of grounds Stitch is what makes it a good movie.
Okay, well, you're right then.
So
there's just so many Stitch fans. I just know.
I think it'll flop if Stitch doesn't look good. If he looks good, then it could be a hit. But I think it's gonna flop.
So there's a potential to be a hit. But I think it's flopping. It might be flopping. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to Hercules.
That's interesting because the director, Guy Ritchie, I think he did Aladdin, if I'm not mistaken. He directed the live action Aladdin.
Animated Aladdin?
The live action.
Oh, the live action Aladdin.
The one that you really liked, but I didn't care for.
Wow.
Let's see. Let me make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. So Hercules is gonna have the director of the live action Aladdin, which some people really liked. They also are gonna have producers Anthony and Joe Russo. If you don't know them, they did Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. They directed that, so they're producing that.
Oh, for sure. This is probably gonna be a hit. I think
this is more likely gonna be a hit just because of the people working behind it. It seems like they're gonna actually craft a good story. I'll say it's a hit. I'll give this.
I think it's gonna be a hit too, especially if I hope they make it more musical based, just because the muses are really a big part of like bringing this story, bringing like the soulfulness to life in the Hercules movie. Now, you guys might be upset at me, but I really didn't watch Hercules like that as a kid. I'd never had it on VHS. I've never had it on DVD. Like, I just watched it probably like if we had like a school day and we watched it on TV like that. So the only thing I really liked about Hercules was obviously just the animation, how he was built. It was very masculine. Like, I hope they stick to that. Like, you know, that godlike, you know, figure. I hope they really choose somebody who fine. And then also, if they have the muses in there, that's gonna be really nice. And then they have to have a good Hades. If the Hades is good, it's probably gonna be a good hit. And I hope they change it up a little bit, because that story is not so, like, to me the story is not too strong for as far as like one of my favorite Disney films. But I think that's why it's gonna do well as a live action film. So to me, I think it's gonna be a hit. And then based off of who's behind it, like how Steven was mentioning, I'm not sure who all those other people are who is all behind it, but if that director also directed Aladdin, it's probably gonna be a hit. What do you think?
I think it'll be a hit. It seems like they'll do a better job than the animated version. In my opinion, that one's just alright.
Well, everyone, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the Hit or Flop series with Steven and I. Please let us know what you guys think in the comment sections down below, whether or not you think these films will be a hit or a flop in the near future. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is Millie the Mermaid.